The Niger Delta, located in southern Nigeria, is one of the most critical regions in Africa due to its ecological, economic, and socio-political significance. The region is renowned for its vast reserves of crude oil and natural gas, which have made Nigeria one of the largest oil producers in Africa. However, the Niger Delta's history is a complex narrative of prosperity, exploitation, environmental degradation, and socio-political strife. Here's an overview of its story.
1. Pre-colonial and early colonial era. Trade and commerce. Before European contact, the Niger Delta was a thriving network of trade routes. Its people engaged in commerce with inland communities, trading goods like salt, fish, and locally manufactured tools. European influence. Starting in the 15th century, the region became central to the transatlantic slave trade. Coastal communities like Bonny and Calabar became major slave ports. Following the abolition of the trade in the 19th century, palm oil, used in Europe for industrial and domestic purposes, replaced slaves as the primary export. 2. British colonization and exploitation. The Niger Delta fell under British control during the era of colonization. Its resources, especially palm oil, were exploited to fuel British industrial growth. The establishment of the Oil Rivers Protectorate in 1885, later merged into the Southern Nigeria Protectorate in 1900, set the stage for British administration. This period saw the imposition of colonial governance systems that disrupted indigenous socio-political structures. 3. Oil discovery and the resource curse. The 1956 discovery of oil in Oloibiri, located in today's Bayelsa state, ushered in a new economic reality for Nigeria. The first commercial oil export occurred in 1958. By the 1970s, Nigeria had joined the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and transitioned into an oil-dependent economy. The resource curse emerged, a paradox where resource-rich regions experienced stagnation, poverty, and underdevelopment. This was particularly true for the Niger Delta, where oil revenues benefited federal coffers but not local communities. 4. Environmental catastrophe. Oil spills. Over 13 million barrels of oil have spilled into the Niger Delta since oil extraction began, making it one of the most polluted regions in the world. Notable spills include the Bodo oil spill in 2008, which devastated communities and ecosystems. Gas flaring. Nigeria is one of the top gas flaring countries globally. This practice releases toxic pollutants into the atmosphere, causing respiratory illnesses and acid rain. Mangrove and wetland loss. The destruction of mangroves, essential for protecting shorelines and sustaining biodiversity, has harmed local fisheries and increased vulnerability to flooding. 5. Activism and grassroots movements. The Igoni struggle. In the 1990s, the Igoni people, under the banner of the Movement for the Survival of the Igoni People, MOSOP, led by Ken Saro-Wiwa, demanded accountability from oil companies and the government. The Igoni Bill of Rights, drafted in 1990, outlined grievances related to environmental degradation and economic marginalization. International attention. The execution of Saro-Wiwa and the Igoni Nine in 1995 galvanized international criticism of Nigeria's human rights record and corporate complicity, particularly targeting Shell,